Hello, everyone. Mr. Lipchick here, and our topic for discussion is Africa's cultural landscape. A word or two on Africa's prehistory. Human life began in Africa. The first hominids emerged in Africa over 4 million years. And by hominids, I mean human like creatures, but not fully human in the sense that we are. Hominids evolved into new species, migrating into other continents. And eventually, our species, the species of all mankind, Homo sapiens sapien, emerged. African civilizations. Harsh environments have made the development of large civilizations difficult. Diseases and poor soil shorten life expectancies. Many African communities were formed at the small tribal level, and larger kingdoms emerged in regions such as the fertile Nile Valley in Egypt. Tribal identity. A tribe is a form of social identity of groups sharing a collective loyalty and political unity. Tribal affiliation is based on shared kinship, language, and territory. There are a large number of tribes or ethnic groups throughout Africa. Tribal life was disrupted in the 15th century as the slave trade began. And early pre-European slavery involved indentured servitude, which allowed individuals to earn back their freedom. The slave trade. The earliest slave trade was the trans-Saharan slave trade from West Africa to the Mediterranean cities. This slave trade grew when camels were introduced by Arab traders in the 10th century. The transatlantic slave trade took Africans to the New World. From the 16th through the 19th century, millions of Africans were enslaved and transported to North and South America. And African slave labor built much of the American economy. European colonialism. Europeans introduced modern forms of government infrastructures in schools and hospitals. However, Europeans exploited African labor and natural resources. Africa's many ethnic groups and languages did not correspond to the political borders drawn by the European nations. And eventually, the African people would expel the European rulers after World War II. African languages. 2,000 to 3,000 different languages and 8,000 dialects are spoken in Africa. African languages fall into 5 linguistic groups: Afro-Asiatic, Nilo-Saharan, Niger-Congo, Khoisan, and Austronesian. African countries have adopted European languages as their official language. In everyday conversation, however, local languages are mostly used. In North Africa, the Middle Eastern influence has resulted in Arabic being the most common language. And many Africans are polylingual, that is, they speak many languages. Religion in Africa. Religious affiliations of Africa include Christian, Muslim, traditional African religions, and other religions. Christianity was introduced in North Africa in the 1st century. It spread to Ethiopia and the Sudan in the 4th century. And in the 19th century, European missionaries spread it further. Islam was introduced to North Africa in the 7th century through Arab conquest. It was spread through the jihad as Muslims forced polytheists to convert. Christians and Jews, as monotheists, however, were not forced to convert. Most indigenous African religions are animistic, holding that natural objects, phenomena, and the universe itself have spiritual forces. That concludes our discussion on Africa's cultural landscape. Appreciate your attendance, and I look forward to seeing you in the live lesson. Have a great day.